TV at atheist-community.org. That goes to myself, the co-host, most of the people behind the scenes. Also, if you're on the line right now and you're not the special guest, you can go ahead and hang out because we're not going to get this for at least a half an hour. We're trying to make sure that our special guest actually gets to the right phone lines. So we're clearing that up at the moment. In addition to this program, the ACA also sponsors a weekly, maybe sometimes bi-weekly internet audio podcast called The Nonprofits. For more information, go to nonprofitsradio.com. That's PROPHETS. And we were live yesterday. We will not be live next Saturday because I will be in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Oklahoma Pre-Thought Convention, which is free okay. I'll be up there with Aaron Raw and the Thinking Atheist and a bunch of other people as well. Looking forward to that. Any atheist or atheist-friendly person is welcome to come to any of our events. You don't have to be a member of the tent, and after we're done with the show, we get together for dinner at El Arroyo. They'll have the address up on the screen shortly, and we'll post telephone number to call in as well. Upcoming events, the Texas Pre-Thought Convention is coming up in October. The ACA Bat Cruise is also coming up October 1st, I believe it is. And you can find out more information at the ACA website about our events at www.atheist-community.org for information about happy hour, blood drives, street cleanups, the 101,000 other things we do. And while you won't find information on the website yet, we now have a building, which we're going to save all of the fancy announcement stuff until we're ready for like a grand opening. Come down and, let your godless flag fly. But we went ahead and closed on a building. There's going to be some renovation work. We are going to set up part of it as a studio primarily for the nonprofits, so that if I'm out of town, they can still do a show. But on the off chance that we lose the public access TV studio, we are going to be able to continue doing the show, hopefully without too much hassle from the new building. And it'll be the ACA library loaded with books and prepared for all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we maybe won't have as many preemptions. Like next week, we are not going to have a show because of scheduling problems here. And these sorts of problems should go away once we have our own studio.
Yeah, hopefully one of the scheduling problems for next week is that they're coming in to fix the air conditioning. I'm pretty sure Don and I are going to look like we have gone swimming by the time the show's over.
Wilting here.
Not completely sure. We apparently don't have our guest on the line yet, so, and I don't want to start on your topic just to have it derailed. So why don't we take a call, since these people didn't listen to me when I said they could hang up and call.
Let's reward them.
And we'll reward them by giving them a minute of time or so. Vaughn in Houston, how are you?
Oh man, I only get a minute.
If that. No, go ahead, John.
Maybe I should just trash talk for 30 seconds.
If you think you can make it 30 seconds, I got a quick thing.
Give us something.
Sure, go ahead.
Question?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you, but I was actually going to talk about a few different misconceptions about Christianity, but that takes a few minutes, so honestly, you might just be better off by cutting me off.
Well, give us 1 point. I mean, because it's better than giving us 12 anyway, because that just muddles the conversation, makes it difficult to address anything. So, I mean, if there's like 1 point.
I would say that in general, a lot of atheists believe that evolution presupposes atheism and is incompatible with Christianity.
Yeah, we don't think that.
Yeah, well, no, I realize you all. I've heard that on your mouth.
To be fair, yeah, actually, I do to some extent. I mean, it just depends. I realize that there are plenty of Christians out there who accept evolution. I just don't think they have any rational basis for reconciling evolution with their actual religious beliefs. But the thing is, when you can turn your religion into anything you want it to be, you can make an excuse for anything. So while there are plenty of fairly rational, science-minded Christians out there who accept evolution and think that maybe their God just tinkered, and they're fine with millions of years and reading Genesis as, allegory or things like that, I don't think that they're being very honest representatives of what Christianity really, by and large, is.
So you would define Christianity as not being compatible with evolution then?
Well, there's 1,000 different definitions of Christianity, but I would say in the traditional sense, in the Orthodox sense, in any sense that's really meaningful, yeah, I think they're completely incompatible because they simultaneously believe, so basically what they've done is they've said, okay, now we're okay with the idea that Genesis isn't literal, so maybe it's a day-age thing and we really can have millions and billions of years, or maybe evolution happened but God tinkered along the way, and what they're really doing is weakening, if it's possible, their religious beliefs, which I think are already fairly weak, but they're also weakening the science, because evolution doesn't have any room for it, for some being to come in and tinker. There's no intent, no design, and no need to even posit any such interaction.
Well, wait a minute here. There's another issue in the sense that, you know, the Genesis story has the fall of man, right? And if there was no Adam and Eve and there was no fall, the whole reason for Jesus' existence is moot.
Yeah, and that's why
he has no purpose whatsoever.
And that's why I don't think they're on very good theological grounds.
I'm just trying to decide who to address here first. I'll go ahead and say to Matt, you know, you're saying evolution doesn't really have deeds or, you know, deity. And in general, honestly, I would agree with that, but evolution assumes that there is a mutating replicator. And evolution, you know, it explains the origin of the species and the origin of life, but it does not explain the actual origins of the universe.
Actually, evolution doesn't explain the origin of life either. It explains the diversity of life. The origin of life is another issue. But you can't fault evolution for not explaining the origin of the universe. That's like, you know, faulting a ruler for not measuring, you know, light years.
No, I think you misunderstand. I'm not faulting evolution and saying that it comes up short. I'm simply saying that
it's the ruler light years analogy, but it's not supposed to do what you're objecting to the fact that it doesn't do.
I agree with you. I'm not saying that it's supposed to explain that.
Sure. So, okay, a souffle recipe doesn't address the origins of the universe either, but I don't feel it's relevant to mention that.
Well, it's sort of like you implied that because evolution does not require a deity, then we do not require a deity, because evolution has no need for God.
Yeah.
Like I said, but that's completely faulty reasoning, because if there's still other things that are left unexplained, like the origin of the universe.
But validates the biblical stories, though.
The things that are left unexplained are unexplained. You don't all of a sudden get to say that, okay, you've eliminated the need for a God on this question, but on this question where we don't yet have a complete answer, I'm going to go ahead and think it's justifiable to insert a God in there. That's asinine, because a God has no explanatory power. We tend to explain things in terms of things that we understand. This is absolutely an argument from ignorance. It is a bold assertion that because we don't have a complete understanding of subject X, that it is somehow justifiable for me to appeal to magic and superstition, and it's not justified at all.
No, I think if you go back to what I'm saying, that is not my point at all. I'm not trying to say that God might exist simply because we don't have an origin of the universe, because that would be God, I guess. It would be our origin.
So instead of shifting the burden of proof to say that because we haven't disproved God, a God might exist, because that's okay. So why is it you believe a God exists?
Why do I believe that God exists?
Sure.
I believe because of inductive reasoning in general, and because I think the world has sort of a semiotic appeal that I think it obviously has meaning. And I believe that in general there are a few good deductive arguments out there that make it somewhat probable that there could be a deity. So I just choose to believe in a deity.
So, because you can't find any deductive arguments that make it probable, you simply choose to believe so because you think that it agrees with the meaning that you see in the universe.
No, I'm not saying that those are two separate things. I'm saying those are multiple reasons that go together to me.
Yeah, but one of mine was actually a huge negative, and the other one was just a logical fallacy. So, but on that note, our guest is actually waiting on the phone. I don't want to keep him waiting much longer. So if there's time